A very good afternoon to you and welcome to the Midday News right here on 3FM 92.7. We come to you live from our studios here at Adesawe Kanda and our numerous affiliates across the country. We're also live on all our social media platforms on Facebook and on X. Coming up this afternoon, pressure continues to mount on Gold Board CEO Sammy Gyamfi to resign despite his apology over cash gift scandal as the Chief of Staff Julius Deborah summons him to a meeting. Meanwhile, the minority has waded in the controversy describing Sammy Gyamfi's conduct as betrayal of public trust. And will your daily commute be cheaper? This afternoon, public transport operators thread cautiously not to commit to a decrease in fares. We'll hear from commuters shortly. Details of these and many more stories coming up shortly. Please do stick and stay. My name is Judith Brown. Welcome to the bulletin. We start from here. Now, the Chief of Staff, Julius Deborah, has urgently summoned Sammy Gyamfi, the acting Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Gold Board, following the widespread circulation of a video showing him handing over an undisclosed amount of dollar-denominated cash to evangelist Patricia Udro-Kranting, popularly known as Nana Agrada. Now, the video, which surfaced over the weekend, shows the NDC National Communications Officer handing cash to Nana Agrada at an event and has sparked intense public backlash and raised serious ethical concerns. While sources at the Jubilee House confirmed that the Chief of Staff has demanded Sammy Gyamfi's immediate appearance to provide a detailed explanation regarding the controversial gift. Sammy Gyamfi has since issued an apology after facing widespread criticism over the monetary gift. The scandal comes just days after President Mahama launched a code of conduct for government appointees. Well, let's take you through the key provisions of this particular code of conduct that was launched by President John Dramani Mahama. And Section 1.1 of the code of conduct mandates the ministers and appointees, including CEOs of the state agencies, to perform their duties and manage their personal affairs in a manner that withstands the closest public scrutiny and resolve any conflict between personal and public interests in favor of the public. Well, Section 6 outlines penalties for violations ranging from public apologies and reprimands to suspension or outright dismissal. It remains unclear whether Sammy Gyamfi's apology will be enough to quell the controversy of if President Mahama will take further disciplinary action. While the Presidential Affairs correspondent Komla Kluche, meanwhile, will be joining us shortly. The minority, though, has waded in the matter, describing the misconduct of Sammy Gyamfi as a betrayal of trust, and they have been addressing a news conference. We're going to head to there shortly, but first, let's do this story where fuel prices have dropped 3 consecutive times this year, mainly due to declining crude oil prices and relative stability of the Ghanaian cedi against the US dollar. Despite this, the first pricing window for May 2025 saw a marginal increase in the price of some petroleum products. The Institute of Energy Security has projected that the prices will fall marginally again during the second pricing window beginning this week. And as of Monday, May 5, 2025, some oil marketing companies, that is OMC, adjusted their pump prices, with petrol selling between 12.99 cedis and 13.79 cedis per litre, and the diesel between 13.99 and 14.89 cedis. Well, despite these significant reductions in oil prices, transport fares remain unchanged, with unions yet to make any official move towards lowering them. Transport Minister Joseph Bukari Nipe says that his ministry has begun discussing the possibility of a fair drop with transport unions.
The transport unions are a group that I work with on a daily basis. So for respect, I am engaging with them. And since we have not yet come out with any conclusion, I wouldn't want to preempt any outcomes of our meetings. So I will want to say that very soon we will finalize our conversation, and then whatever that is to be told the general public, we will do that.
Right, thank you very much. How soon?
Well, I wouldn't want to fix any date, because when you are negotiating, it sometimes takes some time. But we are working to see how we can end things quickly.
Now, the Industrial Relations Officer of the Ghana Private Union or Private Road Transport Union, GPRTU, Alhaji Abbas Umaru, says other contributing factors to the current fare structure, such as the cost of spare parts, maintenance and operational expenses, have not changed. As a result, any fare reduction will require careful consideration and time.
It is so fuel price has gone a little down, that has experienced some reduction. But we are not yet at where we have to reduce transport fares downwards. You know, we don't operate transport with only fuel when fuel prices went up. Other components went up as well. You can go around and check from Abosokan, from anywhere, that if the prices which went up in about 6 months or beyond has never been reduced. The answer is no. Lubricant, which went up, has ever been recently, about 2 months ago. Prices of lubricants, even some of them went up. You see, so we look at all the components that we use in running transport before any upward adjustment or downward adjustment. When fuel prices go, you don't even check how much has been increased. But when fuel prices decrease, there's noise all over that yes, fuel price has gone down by 2 times or 3 times. But yes, fuel price can go up by about 50 pesos on the liter.
Right.
The possibility of the next reduction is 10 pesos or 15 pesos. And if 10 pesos on 2 occasions or 15 pesos on 2 occasions, it's not even yet up to the increase. So we plead with them. We are mindful of where we are. We are also trying to make sure we all reset the country's economy. We are ready to help. But if we haven't gotten to where we have to reduce the fuel prices, the lorry fares, we are pleading with the general public to bear with us.
Now, let's do some stories on health. And health workers at the Navrongo Health Center have issued a stern warning that they may suspend healthcare services if the deteriorating sanitary conditions at the facility are not urgently addressed. Well, the threat comes in the wake of the dismissal of all casual staff, including cleaners, which has left the facility without adequate cleaning services. Well, as a result, workers say the environment has become increasingly unsanitary, posing serious health risks to both staff and patients. Well, Upper East Regional Correspondent Castro Senyala, well, he has visited the facility and he's joining us with more on this. Castro, now let us understand how the unsanitary situation at the facility is.
Right, Judith, I was there earlier this morning, and I can report that, yes, following the dismissal of the casual staff, including cleaners, the facility looks very unkempt. I went through all the wards, and I was so appalled to see that a lot of things, including syringes that had been used, were lying under beds and in spaces where they shouldn't be. Also on the compound, where you would usually see it very clean and neat, such that patients who come in there are able to sit comfortably and receive healthcare services. I realized that the entire compound was littered with plastic bags, plastic containers that had been emptied and dropped there, and it appears that it hadn't got a good clean for almost a week and more. My understanding is that the director of the district, or the municipal director of health services, has asked that the staff should, leave. The casual staff should leave, or has laid them off, and asked that the nurses and those that run the place should look at how they can clean it. But then the health staff who have been speaking to me on grounds of anonymity say that there is no way they, as nurses, would come to attend patients and still have to clean the place because they don't even have the numbers in terms of their staff strength to, do the two, works at the same time. And for that matter, they have chosen to take care of their clients who continue to come in their numbers, and that would mean, and then that means that cleaning the facility has been left undone because it has never happened before that nurses would clean that place. And Judith, let me quickly paint the picture that the Rongo Health Center is the closest, and in fact it's in town, and it's easily accessible to people within the municipality, and so it's at all time very high in terms of patients walking in there to get healthcare services.
And you have been speaking to some of these patients. What exactly have they been telling you?
Yes, so Judith, actually it was a patient who had gone there to seek health care services for a child that drew my attention to it. And this was not just any patient at all, was an elite member of the community. And she told me that, look, Castro, this is the issue there. She has been there. She went there last week with her child and went there again today, Monday. And she was so surprised to see that the situation was still bad. And she actually hinted me that I needed to check there. And when I went there, the situation was different. So what patients have been telling me off camera is that, look, the situation is bad and it's important that health authorities, the local health authority, sees what they can do as quickly as possible to avert trouble. Because if syringes are lying in the wards where pregnant women and other patients are being admitted, it goes along to tell the situation that is going to come if nothing is done about it.
But if you can explain to us really what exactly led to the sacking of these or dismissal of these casual staff and cleaners at the facility.
Yes, so Judith, I've gotten in touch with the Municipal Health Director who humbly declined to speak but assured that he would address the issue. And so I wasn't able to find out what exactly the issue is. But from what I've been gathering from the health workers there, it appears the new health director says that he wants to dismiss the casual staff so that they can save enough money to run the facility. But then sources within the facility say that it has been an age-long arrangement they've had with the casual workers where they come and clean, and then the facility generates funding and pays them from that funding. And they've never had issues whatsoever for the past 20 years and more. And so for him to come and change that means that he's changing the operational procedure of the facility, and which would go a long way to help them in terms of their operations, because that has never been done before. But then for the Municipal Health Director, he has, like I stated earlier on, refused to speak to me humbly and said that now that I have come, he would make sure that issues are addressed. And so we keep our fingers crossed, and we'll go there by the end of the week to check how the situation has become.
Right, many thanks for your time. Castro Stenyola is a correspondent in the Upper East region. He's been bringing us all the details as regards to the Navrongo Health Center and basically the unsanitary conditions in which they're working. And it's interesting because this comes in the wake of the national stakeholder conference that we here at TV3 and 3FM held just about a week ago on these same issues of health. We're going to stay on health this time in the Ashanti region because health authorities are raising the alarm over a sharp increase in hypertension cases in the region. Well, according to the latest data from the Ghana Health Service, the region has recorded a worrying surge in cases over the past 5 years, a trend that officials say demands urgent action. Authorities are urging residents to know their blood pressure status and adopt healthier lifestyles to curb this silent killer. Well, a correspondent, Ibrahim Abubakar, joins us from the Regional Health Directorate, where the director has been briefing the media on this growing health crisis. Ibrahim, what's the latest? Hello, Ibrahim, can you hear me?
Yes, Richard, I can hear. Well, so when you look at the statistics from 2019 to 2024, the numbers or the figures have moved from around 100,000 to now close to 150,000, which health authorities say is quite high. And when you look at the statistics critically, you realize that in all these years, the female figure is on the high, from 70% to 80% to 90%. And now the health authorities are saying that this may not be the ideal situation on the ground. It is even possible that we have more males who have hypertension, but it's because they are not reporting to health facility, because their review, they realize that more females visit the health facility than the male. So now what they are doing is to intensify education, because they are saying that this is a silent killer, and it normally comes due to health lifestyle activity. So this year, or I would say in the next couple of weeks, they are widening screening so that more people will get to know their status, and also make sure that they are put on treatment to minimize the mortality that comes when it comes to hypertension. Let's briefly listen to what the Regional Health Director, Dr. Fred Adumaku-Boateng, has been sharing with us.
So 2022, and these are from what we call the District Health Management Information System, DIMS. We recorded 126,110 new cases of hypertension in the region. 2023, we recorded 136,380 people in the region. And 2024, we recorded 140,216 in the region. And so to the general population, we are saying that lifestyle modification is key in addressing this menace. What do we have to do? Let's eat our healthy diets. Then let's increase our physical activity.
Okay, yes. We say thank you so much to our correspondent Ibrahim Abubakar. He has been bringing us all the details as regards to that particular story in the Ashanti region and the rise in hypertension cases. We're going to head back to that story, our very first story on Sammy Gyamfi. And we heard there earlier about the Chief of Staff, Julius Deborah, urgently summoning him following the widespread circulation of a video showing him handing over an undisclosed amount of dollar-denominated cash to Evangelist Patricia Ojo-Kranting, popularly known as Nana Agrada, and of course that has sparked widespread criticism on the matter. We're going to head to our presidential affairs correspondent, Komla Kluche. He is speaking to us from the Jubilee House. Komla, good afternoon. Now, has Sammy Gyamfi officially reported to the Chief of Staff yet, and what explanations has he provided regarding the cash transaction?
Yes, of course, I can tell you for certainty that yes, the CEO of the Gold Board company, Sammy Gyamfi, met with the Chief of Staff after he was summoned to answer questions on a viral video showing him handing some undisclosed amount of money to Nana Agrada. In that video that has gone viral since yesterday, what I can say is that yes, of course, he left the presidency around 11 this morning after meeting with the Chief of Staff. The government takes very, very seriously these issues, especially in the wake of criticisms that has come to him, Sammy Gyamfi, and also to the government as well. But what our sources are telling us that yes, of course, he rendered a public apology yesterday, which has also gone quite viral. People have referred to it. But in meeting the Chief of Staff, he was very remorseful and was in a pensive mood. These are the few details that we've been able to gather. But the Chief of Staff has listened to him, and we get indication that anytime soon the public would be apprised as to the decision of His Excellency the President, who himself is out of the country attending a summit of the African Union on the debt situation being faced by the countries in the sub-region.
Ryan, many thanks for your time. Komla Kluche is a presidential affairs correspondent speaking to us on the matter and that meeting that he says has been held between the Chief of Staff and Sammy Gyamfi. Of course, the public is waiting with bated breath as to really what will be the decision of the president on the matter. We're going to stay on this issue because the minority has waded in the matter. They are describing the conduct of Sammy Gyamfi as a betrayal of public trust, and they have been addressing us in a news conference My colleague Evelyn Tingma is joining us from there to give us more details on that. Evelyn, can you tell us really what have they been saying?
Yeah, literally. So the press conference of the year has just ended, and it was addressed by Dr. Kabiru Mahama, MP for Wale Wale. And what exactly they are asking for now is that the president should immediately sanction Sami Gyamfi by either suspending him immediately or sack him as the CEO of the Ghana Gold Board. And so they are asking for that. And they are also asking that he should be sanctioned as well because his conduct is an affront to the Code of Conduct and it's against the Currency and Foreign Exchange Act, and it is also against the CD Act. And so they are asking that Sami Gyamfi is not anybody who is ignorant of the law, and so for that matter, he should be sanctioned severely. And they are also asking that a full-scale investigation be done into the display of the money that was done by Sami Gyamfi, and because according to them, one is not supposed to have dollars or trade in dollars, but for Sami Gyamfi to have been given that amount of money to Agrada, it means that it has to be investigated either by the National Security and the GRA, the Ghana Revenue Authority. And we are also asking that the president or the presidency apologize to the people of Ghana and as well as, to the people of Ghana because they are saying that Ghanaians are suffering, yet they've seen Sami Gyamfi display that amount of money, which is a purely opulent behavior. And so that should be apologized by the presidency. And so immediately that is what they are calling for now.
Okay, let's take a listen to that from the minority.
Actions of recent Sami Gyamfi. The Foreign Exchange Act 2006 Act 273 prescribes under Section 3, Clause 1 and 4, a person engaging in the business of dealing in foreign exchange without a license issued under this act. In other words, the Foreign Exchange Act has prescribed anyone doing businesses with the United States dollar or any foreign currency without approval or license so granted under the act. The business of dealing in foreign exchange includes the receipt or payment of foreign currency. The Bank of Ghana has constantly reminded us through various notices that pricing, advertising, receipting, or making payment for goods and services in foreign currency without authorization from the Bank of Ghana is illegal. The penalties for such violation includes a fine of up to 700 penalty units or a prison term of not more than 18 months or both. In other words, this is the prescribed penalty for anyone doing businesses with currency in Ghana or foreign currency without authorization from the Bank of Ghana. And from our checks, Mr. Gyamfi has not got authorization from the Bank of Ghana to do business with foreign currency. And it is clearly a violation of the Foreign Exchange Act, which has been passed to, this is a law governing the circulation and transaction with foreign currencies. Ladies and gentlemen, the Ghana cedi, or the Ghanaian cedi, is the only sole legal tender in Ghana. And for emphasis, let us repeat this. The Ghana cedi is the sole legal tender in Ghana. There is no justification whatsoever for keeping stacks of dollars because foreign exchange businesses and international payment are regulated under Section 16 and Section 15, which provides that, and I quote, each payment in foreign currency to or from Ghana between resident and non-resident or between non-resident shall be made to a bank. So if you have any payment to make, for which reason
Well, you have Kabiru Tia, Dr. Kabiru Tia, who is the MP for Wale Wale. He has been speaking on behalf of the minority on this very pressing issue of Sami James-Fee, who was seen handing over an undisclosed amount of cash to Nana Agrada, who is a popular evangelist in Ghana. Well, we've been speaking to Evelyn Tingmaswo, who was bringing us all the details there from that minority conference. We're going to move away from that because residents of Salakope, Amitinu, and Agaveji in the Ketu South municipality of the Volta region are appealing to President John Dramani Mahama not to renege on his promise to address the devastating tidal wave destructions affecting the communities. President Mahama on March 6 dashed to the affected area where he reaffirmed his commitment to ending the destructions along the Keta Lagoon and assured residents that work on the Blekusu Sea Defense Project will be completed to offer protection to the communities. Our correspondent Faisal Abdul Idrisu has joined us with more details on this matter. Faisal, it has been months now since President visited the affected communities. But before you tell us about that, what are the concerns that the residents are raising? And can you paint a picture of how things are looking now in the area?
Yes, so it's already 2 months since President John Dramani Mahama visited the Agaveji, Amutinu, and Salakope areas, where he assured the people of his government's commitment to ensuring that the Blekusu Sea Defense Project commence again and made to protect these areas. Between that period and now, if you go back to the areas, several buildings that were met, even on the day of the president's visit, have not been taken away by the sea. Between that period and now, there have been 3 different incidents of tidal wave that have displaced a number of the residents again. And so the church building that has been serving as a safe haven for some of the affected victims is now full to capacity. So there is the need to provide more shelter so that we do not see people sleeping on the streets again. You go to the community again and you realize that the Kata Aflao Road, which we've talked about several times, now is in danger because the sea is pushing the sand to the road every day, making vehicular traffic a bit more difficult. So in the evenings, you see residents using shovels to scoop the sand out of the road just to create a path for the vehicles to pass. And so between that period and now, things have become worse. And for instance, when you go to Salakope, for instance, you don't find a single building standing anymore that is habitable because the few that were left along the shoreline have also been destroyed. And so the Salakope in particular, the Salakope community, is gone entirely.
Right, and again, we know you have been to the community over the weekend. What are the residents saying?
And so, yes, the only thing that happened significantly after the president's visit is the allocation of some 200 million Ghana cedis in the 2025 budget announced in Parliament. The residents want to know what that amount of money is supposed to be used for. They indicate that 200 million Ghana cedis definitely is not what government would want to use to commence the sea defense project, but they want to understand what exactly that money will be used for. They are also saying that the silence from government for the past 2 months is not helping them. They want the ministries in charge because the president indicated that the Ministry for Science and Technology and Environment will be responsible. The Ministry for Works and Housing and Water Resources will be responsible, and one other ministry. There were 3 ministries the president mentioned that they want the ministries to be speaking. They want regular updates on what government is doing already on paper in relation to the commencement of the Blekusu Sea Defense Project. Let's listen to the assembly member and one other resident who spoke to me over the weekend.
Young President Ashi.
The president heard our persistent cries and visited the communities with a high-powered delegation. He gave us hope and assurance that he will commence the sea defense project to protect us. But since then till now, we haven't really heard anything. Things have become even worse. We are here hoping that something will start on the ground soon. But we are not seeing anything.
Well, many thanks for your time. Faisal Abdul Idrisu is a correspondent bringing us details on residents of Salakope, Amutinu and Agaveji in the Ketu South municipality of the Volta region who are calling on the president not to renege on his promise to address the devastating tidal wave distractions affecting these communities. That's how we end the midday news right here on 3FM 92.7. My name is Judith Brown. A pleasure coming to you this afternoon. Please do stay tuned. We have more stories, more programs for you this afternoon. Bye-bye.
Accra gets busy on this frequency. 92.7 3FM.
Hello, good afternoon and welcome to Business Daily on 3FM 92.7 with me, Bismark Awusah. Coming up, Ghana Union of Traders Associations, GUTA pledges continuous downward review in prices if government commits to sustaining economic gains as CD strengthens.
All that we seek is sustainable. So whatever prudent measures that have been adopted and is working for us should be maintained. It's as simple as that.
Also, government's treasury bill auction falls short by 170 million cedis amidst declining yields. Plus, Cosmos Energy commits $2 billion investment to boost Ghana's upstream petroleum sector. We'll bring you details. Thanks for your company. Now to the details. The Ghana Union of Traders Associations, GUTA, is calling on the government to sustain and enhance its efforts at improving the country's economic conditions, warning that continued consumer benefits depend on it. The call comes after the Ghanaian cedi was named the best performing currency in the world, an achievement largely credited to the government's recent fiscal measures. Speaking to 3 Business, GUTA President Dr. Joseph Obin said the government must remain focused on creating a stable and enabling environment for both traders and consumers.
All that we seek is sustainable. So whatever prudent measures that have been adopted and is working for us should be maintained. It's as simple as that. All that we have said is that we have to ensure or adopt fiscal discipline. It's very important, and we re-emphasized on that area. Then also with the good monetary policies that will ensure better controls at the trade of money, especially with the regard with the forest. And these are the things. And then we also said that they also should work hand in hand. The monetary policy and the fiscal policy should work hand in hand. And I believe that those measures have been taken into consideration. I recommend the Bank of Ghana for doing its best to bring us this far, as well as the government also. So all that we have to do is to make sure that we're able to continue or even enhance on whatever mechanism or measures that have been put in place to make us reach this far, that everybody is happy and commending the managers of the economy.
GUTA President Dr. Joseph Obin is also urging the trading community to adjust prices downwards to reflect cedi's recent gains, stressing that this is necessary to remain competitive and fair to consumers.
Though people might have challenges, and it is true that people might have bought the forest at the old rate, and that maybe they have not made do of the goods. And so what should those people do and all that? That's why we are advising that you do not overprice yourself out of a competitive market, because once people have gotten it at a cheaper rate, they are not going to wait for you. And if your goods are perishable, are you going to sit down for them to perish or some sort? So we are appealing that they strike reasonable averages between the old and the new, so that they can still remain in competition. So it's a very good appeal that we are doing without any malice or imposition that we are doing. We are not in a price control regime.
And that was President of the Ghana Union of Traders Associations, GUTA, Dr. Joseph Obing. Meanwhile, economist and director of ISE, Professor Peter Kotti, has expressed concern over the net impact of the cedi's performance, warning that while importers may benefit, exporters stand to lose due to reduced competitiveness, a situation that could have long-term implications for jobs and consumer welfare. He's therefore urging government to adopt a balanced approach.
And then reduce the price. But when there is competition, new goods being sold at a cheaper price compared to the old one at a higher price, you see some movement. Once there is competition, there is demand and supply, you see some movement towards a reduction in the price of these goods. But let's also not forget, we are looking at consumers. Let's also not forget that exporters, when the exchange rate appreciates, our goods become expensive internationally, and therefore we are not able to sell as much as we could. So the appreciation also hurts exporters of our goods. So we have to look at the net effect. Consumers will gain, but exporters will be hurt when there is appreciation in the currency.
And that was economist and director of ISE, Professor Peter Kotti. Now, government of Ghana's latest Treasury bill auction concluded on Friday, May 9, with a total of 5.21 billion cedis raised, falling short of the targeted 5.38 billion cedis. This marks the second consecutive week of undersubscription, as revealed by auction results released by the Bank of Ghana. There is more in the following 3 Business News Desk report. The shortfall of approximately 170 million cedis follows the previous week's 1.59 billion cedis deficit, indicating a potential rise in investor caution within the Ghanaian financial market. Total bids submitted were similar to the accepted amount at 5.21 billion cedis. A notable trend in the auction was a strong preference for short-dated instruments. The 91-day bill emerged the most sought after, attracting bids and acceptances totaling 3.85 billion cedis, representing a significant 73.9% of all bids. Yields across all tenors continued their downward trajectory, aligning with the Bank of Ghana's ongoing monetary policy efforts to stabilize inflation and lower borrowing costs. The yield on the popular 91-day bill eased to 15.16% from the previous 15.23%. Similarly, the 182-day rate declined to 15.7% from 15.77%, and the 364-day bill experienced a more pronounced drop to 16.8% from 16.95%. The consecutive undersubscriptions and the clear preference for shorter tenors present a nuanced picture of investor sentiment in Ghana's fixed income market as interest rates gradually decline. And that was the 3 Business News Desk report on government's Treasury bills auction falling short amidst declining yields. Before we go, US-based oil and gas firm Cosmos Energy is set to inject $2 billion into its upstream operations in Ghana, a move expected to significantly bolster the country's petroleum sector and attract renewed investor interest. The announcement was made by Sector Minister John Jinapo at the 2025 Africa Energy Forum held during the Offshore Technology Conference, OTC, in Houston, Texas, United States. Speaking at the forum, Mr. Jinapo noted that the substantial investment by Cosmos Energy signals a new chapter in Ghana's energy narrative. The minister disclosed that government is currently undertaking a comprehensive review of Ghana's upstream fiscal regime, aimed at enhancing competitiveness and providing greater clarity for the industry players. And that brings us to the end of Business Daily on 3FM 92.7 with me, Bismark Awusah. For more business stories, please check out our website 3news.com. Thanks for your company. Urban Blend is next with Black Rasta. Please stay.